So your first reading assignment begins here. We're in chapter 17 now, and you'll see it's titled Gothic Art of the 12th and 13th Centuries. First thing you notice is that that's a different title than your module. Your module calls it the French style, the same time period, 1150 to 1350, but I deliberately did not use the term Gothic. I used the original term that was used at the time, the French style. So let's get clear, dispel some confusion. Gothic is a misnomer in many ways, and one, it's nothing like what we think of Gothic today, because it has nothing to do with black, dark, shadowy, spooky, and ominous qualities, not with an angel with black wings playing a guitar. Because you'll see that actually Gothic is not about dark, it's about light. Gothic architecture is about light and height. In fact, this photograph puts the Gothic rock girl in what they think is a Gothic church, maybe, but it's not, because it has round arches on columns, and Gothic churches are predicated on pointed arches and ribbed groin vaults in order to be super tall. So I wanted to stress what was introduced in the video, but it's worth repeating now that we're in the module on Gothic art and architecture, that what's called Gothic is actually about the poetics of light and height. So why do we even use this term? Well, it has come to be a term that is simply stuck. It gets used in the 16th century, which is about 400 years after this style is developed and becomes the most popular style across Europe. And by that time, there's actually going to be a revolt against this style. So the word Gothic is a put down to say that this style is barbaric because the Goths, the barbarians, destroyed Rome. And this style will come to be thought of as not Roman enough. Okay, that's getting a little ahead of ourselves. Let's go back. So the textbook authors explain that we have a style of art and architecture that's associated with Paris and that will dominate European art and architecture for centuries. This is an important point. By the mid-12th century, we'll see that this style is born in around 1150. You get the style because of multiple factors converging. I want you to really think about that. Multiple factors converging, including architectural engineering, those pointed arches and ribbed groin vaults that you learned about, economics, increasing financial resources because these cathedrals are going to be expensive and lavish, and new intellectual and spiritual aspirations. They make a nice comparison here to the kind of the competition to have height in skyscrapers, which also sort of reach up to the heavens, which also show power and privilege, which also use often shimmering glass, just like cathedrals. And then they go on to show you stained glass, because that is one of the definitive features of this style, stained glass. It's the reason they are all about luminous, colored, radiant light. In terms of those many factors that are creating this new development, one of the most important is the politics of the French royal family that are consolidating and centralizing their power and expanding their territory. This map is important. It shows you that here around Paris had been the original lands of the French royal line, just that little island. And it showed you over time as they add chunks and chunks of territory to grow their power. That's really the backstory of this whole architectural and artistic development. And it's also associated, this is an important point, with growing urban centers. Many of the monasteries that you looked at in the time of Charlemagne, the time of Hiberno-Saxon style, though, such as Lindisfarne, was located on a kind of lonely, windswept coast. They were in rural areas. There's a growth of towns, a growth of cities, and these cathedrals are going to be often in the city, part of the city infrastructure, part of the communal life, at the same time that we start to get universities. And the culture of the university, the kind of learning associated with the university, is going to affect the kind of spiritual and intellectual approaches that are used in the cathedrals, which will try to be like encyclopedias. And so notice here that the universities are beginning to supplant monastic and cathedral schools. This is a major development that will be hugely consequential across Europe. So I want you to read these with a sense of kind of the background of historical life and how it is part of what you will study as you move into the next sections and see what the kind of fine points are of Gothic cathedrals.